gold. I know that there's a lot of controversy about gold and what it does kind of as far as skincare, but this really dates back all the way to the ancient civilizations who used gold in beauty and restorative rituals. We're talking Egypt, China, India, and Europe. So really paying homage to all of those beautiful cultures. Today, modern skincare uses gold nanoparticles and charged 24K foil in a way that's more purposeful. Gold can help increase absorption, stabilize active ingredients, which we use a lot in this facial, and enhance the performance of peptides, the collagen gel we'll be using, and any hydrating systems that are going to sit right on top of the skin. And it does contribute to a healthier delivery for conditions for other actives. In this protocol, gold is combined with PGA peptides, with collagen gel, with our hydrators. I'm going to show you some of my favorite. I have my lovely model here today. She's actually one of my regulars, so I'll show you kind of what I like to pair with. This protocol, although it has a structure, what I love about advanced aesthetic stores is that it can pretty much fit in with all of your brands. So you can have that creative liberty to say, hey, I can follow the protocol, or I can do what I think is best to the best of my knowledge as a practitioner, as long as you're being responsible. The system is especially beneficial for clients with dullness, sensitive skin. It's great for helping with barrier compromisation. It provides a glow and really refines the skin without really leaning into that whole aggressive exfoliation. I don't consider this to be a fluffy facial. It is very results driven, and I'm hoping that you're going to be able to see that on my client here in a minute. So I'm going to talk a little bit just about the protocol overview, and then I'm going to have the screen kind of going as we go through the facial step by step. That way you're going to be able to see me doing it and also read a little bit about all the products that we're going to be using today. This treatment specifically is designed to gently prepare, activate, and nourish the skin through layered steps that support radiance, elasticity, and barrier strength. We're going to be prepping the skin through cleansing, exfoliation of your choice. We're also going to be using an enzyme exfoliating cleanser that we're going to whip up, and optional dermaplaning. I did prep my client with dermaplaning in advance. That way, we don't have to wait too long to get right into it. We're going to then activate the system with the corrective PGA peptides that I'll show you in a moment with the 24K gold foil. And then we're going to seal and reinforce the results with our collagen gel, which also has the 24K gold in it, and any hydrators, anything that we need to prep the skin nice and beautiful and seal everything in. By the end of the service, the goal is for the client to feel rejuvenated, hydrated, maybe even a little bit firmed, definitely toned and brightened without feeling any inflammation or irritation at the end of it. The overall intention of the protocol is to prepare the skin gently, to activate it very strategically, and to finish with kind of stabilizing, comforting, and sealing everything that we did throughout the facial. You'll notice that as we go through the facial, there's a couple of modes of exfoliation that you can do, but no matter what you do, the facial will result in calm, brighter, smoother skin rather than skin that feels inflamed and red. So I'm going to just take a moment to turn on my other camera. That way we can kind of run through all of this together at the same time. So let me just...
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just saw this. Okay, I'm gonna turn on so we can see my lovely client. Are we able to see her? Okay, we see her. This is Michaela. So we're going to get right started into the facial. I did already dermaplane the skin, and I did use our step from step 2, which is the dermaplaning prep, which has hemp seed oil, jojoba, and vitamin C. It gives the skin a really beautiful glide to have and makes it so that there's no irritation. As you can see, she's not really red or inflamed or anything at all. So I am going to begin by going in with one of my favorite cleansers. This is the smaller version of the step number 1 here, which is the Desembre Milk Essential Cleanser. It's got a ton of amino acids. It's also got green tea, mugwort, and tea tree extracts. I'm just going to grab some on my hands. And
So
we're
as
just
of right now, I only see, let me make sure. Is there two? Dun, 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 dun. I only see the the slideshow.
oh no, hold on, let me see.
Is it treatment room and Steph?
Yeah, are you able to pull up both?
Yep, now I can. Okay, so on Steph Advanced Source, can you put the, let me see one more time. Okay, I have that one. Add pin. Are you still showing the slideshow?
I am, yeah.
Okay, one second. Can you guys see the slideshow? I see it at the top. Okay, I see that one, and then this one. Okay, hold on.
If it's also easier, I can always pull that down. I would just love to be able to have them be able
I
to read
agree with you.
along.
One second. There is a way. Just give me one second.
Sure.
Okay, for some reason it's not doing it. So I have both of them pinned, but for some reason it's not showing
Let
in
me try doing stop share on the slideshow.
yeah,
How
let's
does that look?
try again. Do share now.
Okay, share, share. How's that?
I guess you can't share both at the same time.
That's okay. Let's do the treatment room and I will
But you know
just,
what? If you send it to me, I can send it out via newsletter.
okay, perfect.
Okay,
Perfect. Okay,
perfect.
does everyone see my lovely client?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let me just position this. That way I know what you guys can see. Alrighty, let's restart a little bit. We're going to rewind a little bit and pull out our milk essential cleanser here, which uses amino acids and botanical emollients to soften impurities without stripping the skin. I really love it because it has green tea extract, it's got mugwort, it's got tea tree, it's got a light fragrance to it, nothing offensive. And I really love to prep the skin with this because it is going to slide easier over the skin the more you use it, as opposed to a lot of milky cleansers that over time will kind of stiffen and dry down. This one kind of leans into its oils and will allow you to have a really beautiful glide over the skin. I'm just going to gently cleanse the skin. We did, like I said, prep with some dermaplane off camera. That way we can have the skin nice and prepped for you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this. I like to just remove it with a hot towel. It breaks down the cleanser really beautifully. You can add water here to kind of emulsify, but I find that it removes just beautifully on its own. So I'm gonna actually just go in with my little microfiber mittens. We're going to head into the next step, which would be the enzyme exfoliation. With the enzyme exfoliation, I always say it is optional. You don't necessarily have to do it. If you have a client who you know is going to do really well with it, definitely include it. We have two different enzymes. We've got the Dermagarden enzyme powder, which is a salicylic acid based powder. And then we've got the Desembre enzyme powder, which is just a papain and betaine based one. So I'm actually going to go in with the Dermagarden one, which I'll show you in a moment here. And the protocol calls for mixing this powder here with the rose essence toner, which has hydrolyzed collagen. It's got that rose water in it, and it's got allantoin. So this is going to allow the skin to feel more refined without being sensitized. And when you activate it with the Derma Essence toner here, the exfoliation stays hydrating, balanced, and calm rather than tight and reactive. We never want our clients to feel like their skin is too stripped whenever you're doing a cleanser. And this is going to create a smooth, kind of more receptive surface before layering the peptides and the foil and everything. So what I like to just do is grab a little bowl here. I'm going to open up my enzyme powder, which has a nice little slot there. And I like to grab, I would say about a tablespoon amount, but you can't really go wrong here. If for whatever reason, maybe you grab a little bit more powder, that's okay. Just add as much essence toner or even water as necessary. I'm going to do about 7 pumps here. I'm going to grab a fluffy brush. Even though I'm going to grab a fluffy brush, I'm also going to keep a water nearby just because I do want this to fluff up. So it totally depends what texture you want. This is going to be a paste. You can absolutely use the enzyme as a paste. I'm going to add a little bit more because I just want to do a nice fluffy cleanse on my client. And you're going to see it's going to start to foam up and fluff really beautifully. And you can use this with 2 fan brushes. You can use this with 1. It is totally up to you. I'm just going to apply lightly all over the skin. This enzyme will activate on its own. The only thing we don't want is for it to dry out. If for some reason it dries out, which it usually won't as long as you activate it with enough water, you can always add water to reactivate it. But this enzyme does really well. It's very easy to work with. So typically I like to do this over about 5 minutes. For the sake of time, I am going to hurry up a little bit, but I really like to take my time with this process. And I will even go in afterwards with whatever's kind of remaining in the bowl and go in with my hands just to get some extra exfoliation. This is not a rough or gritty enzyme. It will start off a little grittier, especially if you have it thicker, it will keep that grainy texture, but it is really soft and very, very versatile and very gentle. And this has a little bit of salicylic acid. So I'm actually just going to move the rest of this into the corner of the bowl and just grab whatever is left and kind of just squeeze it onto my hands. And I'm just going to really work it in. And this is going to be the final kind of prep into the protocol. After this step, we would typically, if you have a leaf, incorporate the leaf. So After we cleanse here, you can prep your leaf on mode number 1, which is the microchannel setting. And that's going to kind of make the pores more receptive. The thing about the leaf is you want to make sure that your canvas is very clean, especially on step 1. You never want it to be dragging or pulling at the skin. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can, of course, make sure that the skin is just really, really, really clean. But that's not always super feasible when we're talking about the time crunch of the treatment room, especially in a 90-minute protocol such as this. Some people can opt to do a very, very light layer of toner. That way it glides over the skin, but you don't want it to be too damp or too wet. What I like to do is just pat the leaf device. And I'll show you kind of what I mean. We're going to get as much of the enzyme here off. If you need to go in with another towel or anything, you absolutely can. There's no harm in that. It's not going to be uncomfortable, gritty granules like a scrub, for example, but they may have some residue that you just want to make sure that you get off all the way. I'm going to touch the skin here, but after about a minute or so, you're going to notice that we're still kind of damp. So if you're going to go in with the leaf, which I will grab right here, this is our leaf device. You're going to notice that it's going to be tugging on the skin, which we don't want to happen. You want a nice seamless glide. So this is where you can kind of decide how you would like to use the device. You can apply a little light layer of a toner that's not sticky or stays wet. It just absorbs really nicely into the skin. That's going to create a nice little glide. Or what I like to just do is tap. So you can tap, and this is going to open the microchannels into the skin. I'm going to proceed without the leaf, just so you can see that you can get really beautiful results without the leaf. But just so you know, at this point, you can do leaf mode number 1, depending on what strength and intensity. You can do that for 5 minutes.
For those who are interested in purchasing the leaf, where do you get it?
So you can get it from Advanced Aesthetic Source as well. That I believe will be restocking around mid-January.
Perfect. And then do you know the price?
I believe it's $4.49.
Okay.
It is a beautiful device. It has 3 modes where you will be able to do microchanneling, so it'll open the channels of the skin, and then you have a second device, which is the microcurrent, which lifts and firms, and you have the third device, the third mode, which does product absorption. So this is a beautiful, really beautiful device, especially if you don't have, let's say, microchanneling or microneedling in scope in your state. A lot of people tend to opt for the leaf device, and it's really beautiful in this protocol. It allows everything to kind of melt in. So let's talk about what you get in a kit. I'm going to open up my beautiful little kit here. So this is the giant Desembre kit that you will get when you purchase a 10 pack. I'm going to open her up here. That way you can see all of the contents here. We have got the gold leaf right there. We've got the hydrating cream, and those are the polyglutamic acid little vials. So we're going to use pretty much one of each today. I'm going to show you each item individually. We have here the vial that we're going to be using. So after, let's say you do the leaf, you would then apply this. If you don't have a leaf, we're just going right in. So I'm going to take this little vial here of PGA. We're going to pop off the top here. And we're going to twist off this ampule, little lid. And then you're going to get access to the vial. So if you're going to be using your leaf, what I recommend that you do is just topically apply section by section. We're going to squeeze this body and we're just going to do a couple of drops. And then you would do your leaf mode 2 and go over it. Since I'm not going to be using the leaf in this demo, I'm just going to go right ahead and I'm going to apply about a third of this vial all over the skin. It should be a very, very, very light layer. Nothing crazy. We don't want to use all of it. We're going to be using a third at a time. So we want to be a little bit more conservative. What this is going to do is going to give the foil something to stick to. There's no science to this. We're just kind of smearing this PGA serum all over.
So who would you do this treatment on?
Anyone who needs brightening, who is very dehydrated and just needs to judge the skin up, this is going to be for them. This is also going to be for your clients who have aging concerns and they just want to be a little bit more preventative. You can definitely do that with any peels or anyone that you feel, or anything else that you feel is necessary to pair. This is a good additive for that.
Is there any chemical peels or any other stronger exfoliations that you would recommend putting in the protocol?
I love pairing this with the thermaceutical peels. Those are definitely my favorite. You could even, if you wanted to, and know your client, you can do the bubble booster with it. But pretty much the bubble booster, the bubble C and the bubble booster from thermaceutical.
Is it the pink one or the orange one?
I would honestly recommend the pink or the orange. The blue is typically more towards acneic. This is not necessarily a treatment catered towards acne clients, but it does help to smooth and brighten the skin. It wouldn't be my ideal clientele for this treatment. So definitely if you're looking for brightening, which would be the Mellaless, for example, or if you're looking for the ageless peel, which is maintenance and exfoliation, and it happens to be my favorite one, it would pair beautifully with this.
So I'm putting the links in the chat. The one I just put, you guys, it says the kit. It's 3 different chemical peels, but you're able to purchase each one individually. So there's one for anti-aging, another one for acne, and then another one for like hyperpigmentation, melasma. And then I just put, the first one was that pink bubble peel that's good for acne, oily skin. And then what is the enzyme snow bubble cleanser good for?
So that one is kind of very similar to our little friend here. It's just another enzyme powder that you can use. That one's catered more towards brightening.
Got it. If you were a new esthetician, right, getting into Korean skincare, which one out of the 3 chemical peels would you start with?
For thermaceutical, I would definitely start with the ageless because it's definitely more versatile. It can be used on acne because it still has that mandelic base. It still brightens. It still has tranexamic acid. But honestly, they're all 3 of them are so versatile that I would feel comfortable giving them to a beginner esthetician. They're all beautiful. They all have a maintainable pH that isn't scary to work with. We're not talking about like medium depth peel or anything that will cause like frosting or potentially give your client a chemical burn as long as you're within the time window. So I consider them to be some of the easiest peels to work with and some of the most corrective that I've seen in Korean skincare. And you know, Maria, I've been doing this a long time with Korean skincare. So I'm obsessed with
Shelf
those.
life? What is the shelf life like? For the
I believe they're good for the smaller two are good for 3 years, and the ageless one is fine for longer because it is not like it doesn't need that glass bottle. It's just in its own. I wish I had it with me right next to me. That way I can show you. But that one's good for longer, pretty much until you finish the product for all of them.
Yeah, I put the link in there, you guys, and if you kind of move up, you can find each one individually. My next question, sorry, I'm asking so many questions, is how much
No.
for, so right now, what steps have we done already?
So we have cleansed. We did dermaplaning off camera, and then we just went in with the enzyme and the rose toner fluff, which is considered like our enzyme exfoliation. So the skin is prepped right now. We've applied our PGA serum. We applied about a third of our little friend here, and you're going to notice the skin is kind of dewy. But most importantly, it's got this nice, subtle little tack that's going to make it so our beautiful gold foils are going to be able to adhere to the skin.
How much is the cost per treatment?
Cost per treatment should be about $25 to $32, depending on the things that you may swap out. For example, like any moisturizers or serums or anything.
Got it.
So while we have the skin tacky here, I'm going to go in with these gold foils. I'm going to show you how I like to cut them and how I like to use them. As you can see here, we are certified. This is a test report that shows that this is just pure 24K gold. You're going to open her up, and it's going to be protected by this little cloth. Once you open the cloth, you'll have access to the gold leaf, which are so beautiful. I'm going to show you in a moment. It has a top layer, which I do recommend keeping just because it keeps it flat. So it seems like an unnecessary little doodad here, this little sheet, but it actually helps to maintain and make sure that the gold leaves stay. So I'm going to keep this little cardboard. So there's a few ways that you can work with gold. When you feel more confident, you can just straight apply this onto the skin and be very careful with this. This is pure gold, so it is so light, and I'm pretty sure it's going to crumple up the second I start talking and like breathing into it. It is so fragile, but look how beautiful that is.
So beautiful.
There's a few ways that you can use this. You can just apply each sheet straight onto the skin. I'm going to show you just a little bit more of a beginner friendly way to do it. I'm going to just take some scissors, and you can, while the sheet is kind of in here, you can cut. So I'm going to show you both ways. And it is so easy to cut through because, again, it is pure gold. It is nice and easy to cut through. It feels like you're cutting through pretty much nothing. And you can cut a little quadrant. I'm going to show you both. Let me just cut this other one off camera. So if we wanted to, the way that we would apply this is you're going to just peel back the top layer just a little bit. So we've got, I have a little bit on my hand, but that's okay. So we've got some of it kind of exposed. You'll press that onto the skin, and then you're just going to lift away this little and press, 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 press. And it's going to adhere right to the skin. You can do this if you feel comfortable working with golds. If you don't, which I definitely did in the beginning, I used to cut them in little quadrants. So that way it's a lot easier to work with. And it's the process is the same. You're still going to just fold it back a little bit, press that onto the skin, and then peel back the layer. And then you'll have a beautiful little sheet right there. So I'm going to do that again here. I'm going to grab my little sheet. And again, I'm going to try and be as careful as I can, peel back a little bit, hold that. Take your time with this step. You don't need to rush this. I'm gonna press and peel that away. And then I'm gonna do a nice half sheet on this side. But if you need to, please cut them up into 4s and dot them all over the face. Whatever you feel comfortable doing is going to be the best way to put it on. So let's grab another half sheet.
You guys are welcome to also turn on your mics or put anything in the chat if you guys have questions.
Yes, please.
Is there anyone this isn't good for?
I don't necessarily think so. I think if you have, I think it's more of who it would benefit. Oh, this one got all messed up, but that's okay. We still want the gold to get on there.
And it says how many sheets per treatment?
Typically 2 sheets is fine. So you can do like 1 sheet on the cheeks and then divide the second sheet on the forehead, the nose, and the chin, for example. And I literally just like to cut it how I need it. So just take your time and map them out. Don't do what I just did there where I just kind of tried to place it. It doesn't mean that you lost the gold. It's just, you know, a little less aesthetically pleasing. So for the nose strip, I actually just like to cut a little thin strip and place that where I need it. And I will just place that on the bridge of the nose. So again, I'm gonna peel that layer back, press it here, and then pull off. And just press her down so you don't lose any of that amazing gold. And then I'm going to use this last little bit and I'm going to place that on the chin. Okay, so we're going to seal this back up. I do want to stress how easy it is for you to damage these gold leaves. Even just like talking will just make them blow into the wind. So it's really good to make sure that you're being super careful when you're working with your sheets.
How many sheets per box?
So it does depend on which kit you get. I believe this one is 50 sheets. And then you have the 30 count kit, which has less sheets. I don't quite off the top of my head, but if you go on the website, it will tell you the exact amount of sheets that are per box.
I put both links in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you so much. You're the best sidekick.
Oh my gosh. I'm psychic.
Okay, so usually you're gonna let this sit for 5 minutes on the skin. I would say we have a good amount of time. I'm taking my hydrating cream right here, which has chamomile and adenosine, and we're going to apply some of this hydrating cream. This is so juicy and beautiful, and we're going to massage the gold foil into the skin. This is a jar, so I definitely recommend getting a little applicator. That way you can grab some. Let me see where my little applicator is. Perfect. So I'm just gonna go in, grab a good amount of cream. You don't really need too much. You can always go back in and grab.
I would say when you get the smaller one, they do come individually, right?
They do, yes. You get them more in these little tiny containers. You would get your hydrating creams.
And there's
And
per treatment.
Yes, one little vial per treatment. I'm gonna just grab this and we're gonna start going to town. So as we start to massage, the gold is going to start to absorb into the skin. How long you massage is very much up to you. There are some estheticians that like to do their facial massage with this, or you can massage until it's dissolved. You can do 5 to 10 minutes, whatever you feel most comfortable doing.
While you're massaging, do you want to tell us your favorite retail products? Or I guess before we jump in there, maybe for those who just joined us, do you want to tell us the benefits of this full treatment?
Sure. So this is going to plump the skin. This works on dehydrated, dry skin to really give that extra zhuzh. You can use it alongside of other modalities. You can use it with peels, you can use it with dermaplaning, with any enzymes, anything like that. As a more luxury premium treatment, this is going to boost luminosity and really, really plump and juice up the skin. So I'm just massaging this in here until I feel like we're at a good level. You're going to have this layer of gold on the skin. We want to massage as much as we can, but you may still have residue at the end of this. I certainly am going to. So you can always go in with a little damp little cotton round or anything to kind of just take off any residue. Just because we're going in with a gold peel off mask afterwards. And if you know anything about like peel off masks, they don't really do well with a wet medium, at least powder based ones. If you have like a hydrogel one, they do great with any serums or anything underneath it. But when you're working with powder ones, you want to make sure that the skin is nice and prepped. But I want to take advantage of this gold, so I'm just going to keep massaging as much as I can. As far as my favorite retail products, definitely the Matatox Mist. A little about me, I am an acne girly through and through. I am an oily, acne prone. I struggle from PCOS. I struggle with hormonal acne. The Matatox Mist has been absolutely incredible for my skin. It is so soothing. It's great just to apply throughout the day, but also in the treatment room between steps. It really calms and soothes the skin. I'll do it after extractions. I'll do it after dermaplaning. I'll do it pretty much at any point during the facial. Also smells really good and it has a really gentle, beautiful mist. The PDRN cream is a must. That one is so beautiful. It's also got spider peptide, which gives you that kind of stringy texture that clients really love. It has just a beautiful amount of hydration and of course PDRN and
So
brightens.
there is PDRN cream, PDR serum, and SPDRN core vial cream.
So the Core Vital cream and the PDRN cream are the same formula. They're just in different packaging depending on what your clients prefer. I love the Dermagarden packaging, but a lot of my more mature clients do tend to like the Vital cream packaging.
And everything she's talking about, you guys, I'm putting in the chat. And then I will make sure to also add it to the newsletter.
Okay, so I feel like we've got it pretty good here. The gold has broken down, so it wasn't very clumpy or dry. It's got a beautiful little silky look to it. This residue, I am just going to grab with some damp mittens, and then we're going to prep the skin for the gold peel off mask here in a moment. So as of right now, we've got 2/3 of that PGA corrective serum remaining. We just used a third before we did this to make the gold foil adhere. I'm going to just gently take off some of the excess that I feel like is going to cause the gold not to really stick. We have already infused the gold into the skin, so you don't need to worry about them not getting the full advantage of it.
Does anybody have any questions? Do you understand the full benefit and the full protocol, or would you like Stephanie to go over anything again? Is the Dermagarden and Desmobain PDRN the same formulation, even though they're different brands?
Yes. So Desembre is kind of like the parent brand, and Dermagarden goes underneath it. The Desembre I like to think of as like the more back bar brand, and then Dermagarden tends to be more like retail facing. You won't see like larger sizes of it. So there's a couple of products where it's the same formulation, but just a different packaging because it is technically the same company. We have the skin beautiful and bright here. So the next step is going to be our little friends right here, which you will receive with the 10 kit. This is going to be a 24K gold peel off mask. You're going to grab a sachet. You're not going to be able to see how beautiful this is on camera, but in person, it is just shimmery, beautiful gold.
It's
So
stunning. It's
it's
like
stunning, right? It is so
it's
beautiful.
stunning.
So this is the part where I recommend that you get a gram scale. You don't necessarily need to if you understand the consistency of powder masks, but if you're not sure, this is technically a 1-to-1 ratio. So you have 35 grams of powder in here. You want to mix it with 35 grams of water. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So to make it easier, it's always good to get a gram scale, but you technically don't need one as long as you're someone who's good at eyeballing things. Um, I am going to just rip this open as gold sparkles are just flying everywhere. It is beautiful. I'm going to empty out all of that gold, and I want to make sure I get everything. Before I apply this, I'm going to use the second third of this PGA that we used earlier before we put the gold foil. And we're going to bake the polyglutamic acid into the skin. This is going to deliver peptides and deeply hydrate the skin. You want to make sure that you're still keeping 1/3. That way we can use it towards the end of the facial. I wish you could see how beautiful this little powder is. It is literally like fairy dust. So I like to just kind of work this into the skin a little because like I mentioned, if the canvas is too wet, the peel off mask is not going to really adhere very well. Okay, so this is where I would typically recommend that you get your gram scale. If you do have a gram scale, this is going to be a very, very simple step. You're just going to place it, zero out your scale, and add water until it's 35 grams. But I will do it the hard way with you guys. I'm going to add a little water at a time. That way we can kind of figure out the consistency that we want. If you have a gram scale, this step is very, very, very easy and straightforward. You're just going to add 35 grams of water. So I'm going to add an initial amount of water. What I'm looking for is totally personal preference. Depending on who you are, you're going to like a certain consistency. We already see here that it's too chunky, it's too clumpy. We definitely need more water. Depending on your consistency is how easy and how spreadable it's going to be. I actually like a more chunky formula. A lot of people like a very thin spreadable kind of thing. I like it a little bit chunkier because I like it to sit where I put it. So I kind of like this consistency. I'm going to make sure all of the clumps have dissolved. As you mix, it's going to become thicker. If you find that you've added a little too much water, you can always let it sit. You can always just take your time. Don't wing it. If it's too watery, you know it's going to run down your client's face or it's going to run into their hair or down their neck. Just take a minute, just put it somewhere, let it sit for a minute or two. I look for this very clumpy kind of, it's still nice and creamy, but it kind of takes some time to fall off. And this is how I know it's really not going to run a ton on my client. Some people like it liquidy because they like that it kind of moves, it glides really easily. I like things to stay where I put them. So I'm actually going to keep stirring this because I want it to kind of thicken. You can apply it here or you can wait a little bit. With these types of masks, it is always up to you if you want to cover the eyes and the mouth. Of course, if they have things like lash extensions, I would avoid the eyes, but you could do the mouth. If you have a client who's claustrophobic, I would ask them in what capacity are they claustrophobic? Do they prefer to have the mouth open? Do they prefer to have just both uncovered? So just check in with your client and see what they need. I like this consistency. This might run a little bit. You see how runny that is? So this might run on my client a little bit. I'm just going to keep stirring for a minute here. Does anyone have any questions for me regarding any peel off masks or anything? Perfect. Okay, let's check it out. It's already so different. I've only been stirring for about an extra minute or so, and it's much stiffer. So let's try. So what I like to do is to keep in mind that what you're really looking for is you're looking for a thick lip because you're going to need to be able to grab it. Once this is all peeled off, if you do have to go in with a towel, it's totally fine. In fact, clients love a warm towel, so it's not an issue if it gets a little bit messy. What I do just recommend is that you just make sure that the hair is all pulled back. That way, if it does run down onto the treatment bed, that it's not going to make anything dirty. This is beautiful because it doesn't stain your sheets. So if it clumps up here onto your towels, it's going to be okay. I like to start on the forehead. I'm going to grab some. And I'm going to take my time here. I'm going to move the product. I like to keep my spatula kind of flat on the skin. I'm not pressing into the skin. I am just distributing the product. I'm going to add as I need to. I know that we see on social media everyone applying hydrogel masks so aesthetically pleasing. But if you are a beginner, that's kind of harder to do. So it's okay to take your time. It's okay to just keep saying in your head, thick lip, and then distribute. So thick lip, and then distribute inwards. If you're unsure of if you're going to have enough of the mask to, let's say, cover the eyes, just wait. Don't cover the eyes yet. Distribute how much you need. I'm going to build the rest of the lip around the face here. You can see that I'm moving very slow and I'm not rushing the process, because if you rush the process, it becomes for a messy removal. So just take your time. You're good, babe. Thank you. Mhm.
One of my favorite things, Stephanie, that you do is the way you educate. So if you have a client, say you want to sell a package of three of these, right? How
Mhm.
do you describe this to your client to sell those packages of three?
So, it is a little harder for me. I don't really offer packages in my treatment room, but I think I would just lead with education. Like, I think that we sometimes, as estheticians, get so caught up in marketing and wanting to make money, which I know is so important, that we kind of lose the plot a little bit. And the plot is that our clients don't really know what we offer. They don't know the advantages of this treatment. And it's our job to be able to bridge the gap as educators of skincare. So honestly, I would just tell them what it is. I would break down what it is, why I think they would need it, that it does rejuvenate the skin, really beautiful. It's a great add-on to spruce up the skin, especially because I feel like they're a little bit dehydrated. Talk to them about the ingredients and the way that they can swallow. Um, it's hard for clients to understand our big language. For example, if you talk to them and you say, oh, well, I'm going to infuse this polyglutamic serum, what does that actually mean? No one knows what that means. So it's your job really to educate the client on what that means by saying it's great for peptide delivery. And that's why polyglutamic is so beautiful as an ingredient. Being able to educate with your knowledge is, to me, what sells the most. Do a little bit of homework. When I was first starting out, I would always say, and I would write down in my little pocket, I would say, what are three ingredients that I really love in this product? And how can I make it more digestible for someone who doesn't know that? How do I break down what peptides are to make it easy for them to understand? And that's going to be the main reason why sales push for me, because I really try to make things digestible for them. Because a client is not really going to invest in something that feels very big and very confusing for them. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just, hey, I'm going to smear gold all over your face and you're going to have beautiful results. Maybe it's that simple, but your delivery is very complex. It's kind of scares some people away when we talk our big aesthetics language. So I think it's really important to always remember that your client does not know what the heck is going on. And it's your job to make sure that they do. And lead with that. Pick up a few key points of the treatment and roll with that. Because them feeling confident that you know what you're doing, to me, is going to be the easiest way to sell a package for sure.
Kylie has a question. What's the recommended price for this treatment to charge clients?
That's going to definitely be based on your overhead. So always take into consideration your rent, how much your materials cost, anything like that, what people in the area are charging. But typically anywhere between 180, 250, 300. You have to take into consideration that this is not a 60-minute treatment. You're going to be doing it with something else. By the way, at this point, you have 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. As you can see, this is already hardened. It's such a beautiful mask to work with. But at this point, you'll be doing your décolleté massage, you'll be doing your scalp massage, anything you feel like you need to do. And then you're going to be able to remove. As you can see, I have beautiful thick little edges to pull from. But yes, somewhere around 180 to 200, 300, whatever you feel comfortable charging for the time, because this is going to be combined with something else. You're going to be doing a peel, you're going to be doing, I don't know, a hydrofacial, you're going to be doing a dermaplane. So make sure that you price it accordingly so that way you're able to meet your overhead. So at this point, what have we done so far? We have cleansed the skin. We've done a dermaplane prep. We've then gone in with an enzyme powder frothed up with the rose toner and a little bit of water. And then we've gone in with, let's say if you use the leaf, we've gone in with that microchanneling of the leaf, patting it onto the skin. And then we've gone in with our PGA corrective serum. Applied that gold leaf on top, because remember that PGA serum makes the skin nice and tacky. So it makes it so that it sticks nice and easy. Then we go in with our beautiful hydrating cream, grab some of that, massage that gold foil in, and then wipe off the residue. That way we can do this beautiful step, which is a 24K gold peel off mask. We also, before we put this down, we put the second third of our PGA vial. So at this point, you should have a third remaining of your vial. So I see a question from staff that says, so you wouldn't do this as a standalone treatment? You definitely can. I would say if you feel like your client doesn't need any exfoliation, which I actually have plenty of clients that don't need exfoliation. Exfoliation is not always the answer. Sometimes your clients come to you with beautiful exfoliated skin and you'd rather do an infusion treatment. Yeah, absolutely. In that case, if you're just doing, this treatment, it would be a 60-minute, but if you're pairing it with any sort of exfoliation, it does really bridge the gap. I guess depending on what you do. For example, if it's the thermoceutical peels, it's only going to be 3 to 5 minutes extra. But let's say you do dermaplaning, then you're looking at 10 to 15 minutes of extra time. That's a 75-minute facial. Let's say you're doing something else. Let's say you want to do it with a hydrofacial. Maybe that adds another 20 minutes. So you're teetering closer to a 90-minute facial. But definitely, if you feel like your client doesn't need anything else, you can absolutely just do the gold kit on its own. So just in a couple minutes, this mask is pretty much completely dry. I think removal is one of the steps that stresses estheticians out a lot because it doesn't come off in one piece. Try not to let that bother you because that's very normal. But one of the ways to kind of remedy it is to try and pull all of the edges loose. That's going to make it so you have the highest success rate of pulling this off in one sheet. So I'm going right here. Hopefully, if this was a real treatment, your client's sleeping or something's going on. They're relaxed. They don't really mind that you're kind of grabbing these edges here. And I like to kind of just break them free a little bit. That way, when you're removing, hopefully it doesn't just rip. But if it does, that's okay. I'm sure I'm going to have some remnants when I pull this mask off. I'm going to show you how easy it is to clean up. I feel pretty confident that the mask has dried down. What I like to do is if you cover the eyes, for example, I like to remove from the top down. That way, when you remove from the top, from the bottom up, you're pulling their eyelashes, you're pulling their lids open. So that can kind of be an unpleasant experience. So I really like to remove downwards. If you feel like you need to support the mask in certain areas, that's okay. This is only 35 grams of solution. So it is a pretty thin hydrogel mask. And you're going to see that there is going to be a couple of little remnants around here, but for the most part, we got a pretty good peel. Absolutely. You can totally use a nice gauze underneath, especially if you're learning. You can use a high frequency face gauze right underneath, and it literally makes it so that you can just pop it off. Um, totally. It also saves you from some cleanup.
Does Andrea sell it on the website?
I don't think so, no, but you can find them pretty much anywhere on Amazon. What I'm going to do is I just have a warm towel and I'm literally just going to massage this really lightly. I'm really not applying much pressure and it just removes beautifully with no pressure. It's not messy. Around the eyebrows, you can do a long stroking motion, a little bit of pressure. And that's just going to get it all off of the brows. So this isn't something that has super messy cleanup. It's going to be nice and easy for you, even if you do kind of mess it up a little bit, or just have a little bit of residue around the edges of the face. Just got a little on her mouth. Gonna take some of this off here. So we're creeping up on our finishing steps. At this point, you're going to reach for your infusion modalities. So you're going to reach for your leaf, you're going to reach for your ultrasound, you're going to reach for your glacial, you're going to reach for anything that's going to infuse a gel. Just for time's sake, I'm going to, this is the 24K gold and collagen gel. It's got 24K, it's got collagen, it's also got beta glucan and oligopeptides. So this is really beautiful. You would apply a generous thick layer and go in. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got some gold flakes in there. This is where you would infuse into the skin for about 5 minutes. If you don't have anything, I like to just apply a thin layer.
This is also my favorite thing that I've noticed to break up the V line or the V-tox.
100%.
It just rehydrates it like I've never experienced. And I
I
hate,
totally agree.
you guys, I hate firming stuff on the face. And I sweat every time because I cannot take it off. I started massaging this into the skin and it melts away. Love it. The V-line, obsessed.
It does. It is beautiful. How did you got your V-line. How did you like it?
OMG.
I know, right?
I
I
have a
love.
client from DC who was here for her daughter. She's like, actually, do you have anybody in DC?
No, I don't think so.
Anyway, I mean, look at my Instagram, you guys. I have before and after pictures. It's phenomenal. Okay, so what are you doing now?
So I'm just going for the leaf on mode 3. And I'm going to just press that into the skin. This is going to feel a little gnarly for your client. How are you feeling, Michaela? Good. Okay, good. So some clients may feel some muscle twitching, but others may not feel it at all. And I'm just going to be infusing this gold leaf. You can actually see that her muscle is spazzing right here. It's just really activating and working that muscle out there. This is actually the lowest setting, so you can definitely go to a higher setting to really work out all of the muscles of the face, especially around their eyes and their forehead. I'm just going in and infusing that collagen gel. I like to do about 2.5 minutes on each side, so totaling 5 minutes. With this, you don't really want to be putting pressure. It's just gliding, using that collagen gel to infuse. I like to switch hands here instead of going over the client's head. When you're with your client, definitely take your time, but just for the sake of the demo, I'm just going to infuse this nice and quick. So right after this, we are going to follow with the Derma Essence Toner, which we used earlier to bring back moisture to the surface and create a smooth hydrated base for the finishing products. The finishing products are definitely versatile. So it's going to be whatever your client needs in that moment. Oh, she's talking to me. There we go. I pulled a couple of things that I want to use on Michaela just because I know her skin really well. So I know it's going to really wake up the skin and make it happy. But she looks beautiful already. If you have a ton of extra gel, I would just remove it. It's not that you can't keep it on the skin, but it can just feel a little bit thicker. So I like to just take a 2x2. I wouldn't really do like a cotton sponge or anything. I just like to take a 2x2 and just dampen it so lightly. You don't really want it to have water. So just squeeze it out. Make sure that it's not super wet. And I like to just grab some of that excess off. That way she doesn't leave feeling a little bit heavier or thicker. And I'm going to go back in with my Rose Essence Toner. I love this toner so much that I literally have 2 of them. I keep it stocked. I don't know why. It is so good. I feel like I always need it around me. Sometimes I have a big treatment room. Sometimes it's over there to the left. Sometimes I don't know where it is and I freak out. So I always keep one with me because I literally do everything with it. I combine it into my cleansers. I do it throughout the facial. I do it after dermaplaning. I do it pretty much at all times. It is hydrating, it is calming, it is kind to the skin.
What is it called again?
This is the Essence Toner.
Is it pink?
It is.
I'm getting 4.
Oh my God, I love her.
How would you, so do you recommend retailing it?
I do, yeah. There's also the Derma Garden equivalent, which has a beautiful, beautiful little packaging. That's also something that I would retail too if you want like a little bit more of like a girly pop packaging. Um, the Derma Garden line has the Rose Essence Toner too. And I like to use, which by the way, it's still beautiful. I like to use this one for my back bar. If you're not going to get the giant 1,000 milliliter one, this one's really beautiful. But there is a Derma Garden kind of equivalent of it that you can retail as well.
So I know I am a retail, I was going to say a naughty word, which is funny. But okay, so how do you explain that toner to your clients to get them to purchase it?
So I like to say that it's got hydrating, beautiful ingredients. It's got that beta glucan in it. It's got soothing ingredients for your clients to enjoy. They can use it throughout the day. I tell them they can even use it with their cleanser. They can use it the same way that you use it in the treatment room. It's also got some hydrolyzed collagen and allantoin in it. It is so, so, so beautiful. It can be used on everyone. It creates this beautiful kind of glassy little veil. So it lets hydration lay down thicker. It's not a traditional toner in the sense of like toners tend to be very watery. I kind of almost consider it like an essence. It's an essence toner. So essences tend to have a little bit more body to it. And it makes it so that your serums and everything adheres to the skin so much more beautifully. It really gives it like a little tacky base to stick to. Sometimes when I'm doing my makeup and I'm looking for like a grippy kind of primer, I will even put this down as my little like makeup prep because I feel like it gives a really beautiful gentle glow and it also helps the makeup to stick to it. Okay, so we are pretty much wrapping up here. I am going to grab the remaining third of our PGA and just use that on the skin. So we've laid that toner down. We're going in with our PGA corrective serum.
At the end, will you also tell us a little bit of the Expo Glow Fit Cushion SPF?
Oh, sure, of course. What would you like to know about it?
Everything. I want it.
She's beautiful. Acne safe too. Let me, you know what? Hold on. Let me finish her products and then I will tell you all about her. Per protocol, you're going to go in with the True Fill Up Eye and Neck Cream, which has arbutin, and grab some of that. Go on the under eyes as well as the neck. I might have used this to filth. Let me see. I'm obsessed. There we go. There she is. So I like to grab a little bit, dot. For my eye creams, this is definitely a thicker one. I like to follow the orbital bone. Remember that heat rises. So it was going to distribute your products upwards. So I find that you can apply your products to that orbital bone, and the natural heat of your body is going to bring it upwards and distribute it as it needs. This reduces the chances of milia forming, especially when with a thicker, more hydrating cream, such as the True Fill, which is incredible, by the way, and so versatile. It smells amazing too. So I'm going to keep in mind that we have an orbital bone where the cream is just centered on. And I like to just kind of massage that into the skin. Again, not really getting too close to that under eye area. And we are going to finish with one of the OG Desembre products, which is the Hydrating Cream Plus here. It is a beautiful, deeply hydrating cream. I'm going to grab some with a little spatula, always with these tub moisturizers. You want to be maintaining the integrity of it, making sure that you're not contaminating. This cream is a thick girl. She has a lot of body, very deeply hydrating. This is definitely for your more dehydrated, mature clients or anyone who really needs some hydration onto the skin. If you wanted to, you could have done some serums underneath, depending on what your clients needed. I like to actually layer moisturizers on Michaela. So I'm actually going to go real quick and I'm going to grab the PDRN cream. And I want to show you, this is the Dermagarden PDRN cream. I want to show you the consistency. By the way, I totally forgot. I did blend a little bit of the True Fill Up Tone Eye and Neck Cream with the 24K Gold Blasting Ampule, just for some added hydration. This is so beautiful and it's just full of gold. I'm gonna go in and grab some of my PDRN cream and I want to show you just the beautiful texture of it. So this is deeply, deeply hydrating. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's got that spider peptide that's going to create that stringiness. It's going to really draw moisture to the skin.
Who would you recommend this for?
Deeply dehydrated skin. So this is it. Like this is very, very deeply hydrating. Great for more dry skin types, dull, mature skin types. Anyone who needs just some extra hydration.
So between, again, we'll talk about the PDR cream and then the SPDRN Core Vital Cream.
Mm-hmm.
You said they're the same?
Yeah, they're just the same. They're just different packaging. Desembre is the parent brand, and Dermagarden is right underneath it. Um, I like to just kind of lean into Dermagarden for my retail, but they're both the same formula. It's just depending on what kind of packaging you and your clients prefer.
Got it. What about the serum?
The serum is completely unique. That would be a Dermagarden product, and that is one of my favorite serums.
Why?
It has that PDRN and hydrating technology. I do feel like it gives a really, really great glow. I feel like it has helped my acneic skin as well to just heal faster because it helps with that healing cascade. It is a really beautiful kind of milky serum and pairs really well with the cream as well.
Do you guys have any?
And I am going to grab my trusty Madetox mist right here, if you can see it. I'm just going to spray the skin. I use this every facial, no matter what. And finally, I'm just going to put a little lip balm right on the lips. I'm out of Q-tips, you guys. Don't judge me. And that is it. That is her. That is the full 24K gold protocol. I want to show you just her beautiful, beautiful glow. She always does so well with this treatment. It really just brings out and brings this beautiful flush. And she's going to continue to enjoy these results for at least a few weeks. Hopefully it brings her in longer.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. So just again, just so you guys know, ending at midnight, if you'd like to purchase the kit, you'll get 10% off with the code 24KIT, 24KIT. And then as always, for the next 12 hours, you're going to, sorry, until midnight. What time is it? Oh my God. For the next 6 hours, you're going to get a free discovery call if you book. Definitely make sure to get your accounts. If you haven't made an account with us, you can get approved pretty quickly with us. That way you can take advantage of the deal as well as the discovery call. I would love to kind of give the floor to you guys if anyone has any questions for me.
I am putting the discovery call in the chat, you guys, in case you don't know where to find it.
It looks like everyone's okay.
Do you want to, before we go, just because I personally love to think of myself as a chemical peel queen, do you want to tell us a little bit about your favorite inhibitor? Because I love it so much, and I feel like everybody should know about it.
Which one are you talking about?
The one, let me grab it real quick. Dun, 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 add it in my cart. I got it, the one I got last time.
The Mela RX?
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Let me grab. Of course. So this is the Mela RX from BR Farm. BR Farm is a pharmaceutical brand. Extremely concentrated tyrosinase inhibitor. Oftentimes, you might only be able to have your clients on this in the evening. This has a vitamin C complex to brighten and help fade discoloration. It is pure vitamin C. So I always say to prep your clients really well for this one, just because it can be sensitizing. For example, I consider myself to have pretty resilient skin, but if I use this morning and night for a couple of days in a row, eventually on like day 4 and 5, my skin starts to kind of feel spicy, and that kind of lets you know that it's time to take it easy. So I'll pull back to, once every night or so. But this really helps to lift hyperpigmentation. And when you use it in combination with, let's say, the Melalist peel, so you have your client on the Mela RX serum at home, and then you do the Melalist peel in the treatment room, you're going to be able to lift pigmentation just as fast. Sorry, if not faster. So it is beautiful. It's going to help to pull that melanin out.
Perfect. How often would you say to do this? Is one time good, or would it be due to do 3 back to back?
So it's always good to get your clients on a treatment plan. This is something that you can do one time. I always say this is one of those treatments that you can just kind of pull out whenever you need it. So if you have a client, like sometimes Michaela will come to me with gorgeous, stunning, hydrated skin, but sometimes she'll come to me dehydrated. And that's when I know that I can pull out the 24K protocol. It's not necessarily something that you have to do in a series, but it's good to have when you really need something that's going to pack a punch when it comes to rehydrating the skin. So think about your clients who struggle with crepey, dehydrated skin, and they come to you like that chronically, and you feel like there's nothing that you can really do to resolve it. You've done the chemical peels, you've done everything like that, you've done your hydrating treatments, your hydrofacials, everything like that. This would be a treatment that I would definitely try because its sole purpose is to bring back hydration into the skin. Yes, the protocol is available on the site. If you go under treatments and you go under anti-aging, you'll be able to see it as the 24K Gold Luxe Facial. Just as a reminder, all of the protocols on our website are suggestions, so please feel free to integrate them with your treatments in your treatment room that you already have, know, and love. Any products or anything that you feel like can fill the gaps, you can go right ahead and do that. But the Gold Luxe Facial on its own, which was the exact protocol that we did today, is absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. We can continue the conversation back in the group. When I say, you guys, Stephanie will change the game in your treatment room, please book your free discovery call. She changed it completely for me. And that's,
Yes, please take advantage of the discovery call at the very least if you're curious, if you have any questions about the brand, or even if you're curious about getting into Korean skincare, please book in a call with me. I would be happy to help you and guide you on everything and help you out.
I'll
Every
tell you,
discovery call comes with a follow-up email on everything we talk about.
I was literally just going to say that. The detail that Stephanie gives you on the follow-up call is literally like I've never experienced before.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. And just look at our skin. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maria, for having me.
Of
Thank
course.
you guys for spending time with me. I know we were here for a while. I'm so happy that so many of you stuck around. I'm so appreciative to be here and to be in this Zoom call. So I appreciate you having us.
Thank you, everybody. We'll continue the conversation back in the group. Bye bye.
Bye.